Hi everyone, I'm back again with another charity podcast here. I'm with Gary from Wishes for Kids. So the first thing I'm going to do is hand over to you, Gary, to tell us all about the charity, the story behind the charity and what you do.
Thank you very much, Dave. So, my name's Gary Lowe. I'm the charity manager for Leicester Children's Charity Wishes for Kids. Just a brief insight as to where the charity began. A gentleman called Russell Brickett founded us in September 2002. Russell had worked for bigger national charities in the past, and there were certain things that he wasn't happy with, i.e., when people donated to a charity, it didn't go where it should. Only 20-30% hit the target audience, the rest was swallowed in admin and wages and all the rest of it. And also, where he worked at the time, donations weren't getting acknowledged. So people would donate and they never even had a thank you or anything like that. So he wanted to set something locally for Leicestershire children, because that's where he lived, but keep it small and keep it local, so that all of the money that was donated to our charity went where it should, which is on the children. And also, like I said, he would acknowledge every single donation. So that was set up nearly 23 years ago. Now, the charity criteria is to grant wishes for children and young people living in Leicestershire who are life limited, terminally ill, have experienced life-changing physical or emotional trauma, or have suffered severe abuse. So we're a wish-granting children's charity for Leicestershire children. We grant up to the age of 18 years old, but we also grant wishes for those that are treated in a Leicestershire hospital. So they might not necessarily live in Leicestershire, they might live in our surrounding areas, Birmingham, Northampton, Derby, Nottingham, but primarily it's within the Midlands. In the 23 years nearly that we've been going, we've granted nearly 8,000 different wishes, which is amazing, and that's just for local children. We never know what a child's going to wish for. They get referred to us from place specialists, hospitals, doctors, nurses and all the rest of it, and we send them a wish application form. On that form, we ask them to fill in a little bit about the child so that we know that they meet our criteria, and then we ask them to list 3 different wishes that the child most desires, and then it's our job to grant at least one of those wishes. We say what the child most desires because in 23 years we've had parents take it on, taking the mick, and 3-year-old children want landscape gardens, and no, they don't. Mum and dad want that, so we get a few that make it up. But on the whole, you never know what the child's going to ask for, and if they meet our criteria, they're going to get a wish from Wishes for Kids. So over the years, you can imagine there's been lots of different things going on. Celebrities, they want to meet. Over the 23 years, we've met all the celebrities in the UK, their favourite people off the telly. We've met them, we've taken them there, they're heroes and all the rest of it. We do that for them. Sports personalities, obviously Leicester based. Sadly, a lot of our kids are into Leicester City and things like that, poor kids like I am. So you'll do a lot with the local teams, Leicester City, Leicester Tigers, basketball team, things like that. In today's world, it's all about gadgets as well, something that I have to ask my teenage daughters all about, and thank God for Google. But they want the latest iPhones and iPads and things like that, so we'll be forever getting them the latest model, gaming PCs, PlayStations, but we buy the latest and the newest. They think we're going to buy them second hand. They get a brand new whatever it is that's out there at the time, and like I said, we always make it the latest thing. We pay for them gadgets like anybody else would. We don't get any discount. Even though we're a charity, we still pay 100% towards all these things that we do. We like to give children trips away and experiences because sadly, a lot of these children, their life, they're not even going to school. They're in hospital every single day. Some of them have been in for months and months, and some just haven't got the normal day-to-day life that a child should have. Yes, so we do a lot of wishes for them as well. I was just going to say about the gadgets, but one of the first wishes that I granted was for a child that wanted a laptop. Now, I'd only been working at the charity for 7 years, and I thought of all the wishes a child could ask for, why is a laptop so important? Our office is based right near the Leicester Royal Infirmary, so I'd walk this laptop down to the child, met him and presented him with it, and then realised he'd been in there for over 4 months. He hadn't been outside, he hadn't seen his friends, he hadn't seen his family. This little gadget that cost a lot of money, but his mum and dad couldn't afford it, enabled him to speak to the outside world, feel human again, communicate with his friends through video messages. Schoolwork was able to be sent to him because of this gadget. So I realised soon then that a laptop to one person is like meeting Mickey Mouse to another child. You know what I mean? You never know what the importance of a wish means to a child. I was talking about trips as well. So we do a lot of trips away for the kids because they've not been away, they've not had holidays, they've not been to the seaside. We make things special for them. We're quite local to Alton Towers. So a child would like to go to CBeebies Land. We will put them in CBeebies Land Hotel. They'll stay in a themed room of their choice. So it might be Iggle Piggle, Mr. Tumble. And for 3 days, they'll be in the hotel. They'll go into Alton Towers where the CBeebies rides are. They can go on the smaller rides. They can go on the bigger rides. When they're back at the hotel, all the characters will be there and make them feel really important. And it's a lovely little trip, and they're seeing their favourite characters on the telly. We do the same with Legoland, where we will take them to the Legoland in Windsor, Legoland Hotel in Windsor. They'll have another trip away. We do little things like Butlins as well, and also Centre Parks, just so they get a little break. What we take for granted, the kids don't have this experience. And again, these things are very expensive. The most popular wish we get asked for is to go to Disneyland. Now, Disney, before COVID, we were able to use anybody in our criteria, but Disney then changed their criteria to life-limited and terminally ill children only. So the Disney kids we're able to send, basically we have to rush some of them through because they're very, very poorly. How Disney works with our charity, and we've had a relationship with them for over 20 years, is that I will fetch them from their house at sometime 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we give them a full day. We take them down to Luton Airport, where after I've had breakfast with them, they're looked after by a chaplaincy team who put them on the aeroplane. They're looked after from when I pick them up to when they get on the aeroplane. All the stresses are taken away. They fly to Charles de Gaulle Airport, and they're picked up from a chaplaincy team at Charles de Gaulle Airport, where they take them through the airport, get all their stuff, all the hassle, and they put them in a big taxi that we've organised that then takes them to the Newport Bay Hotel at Disney. When they get to Disney, they are met by the Disney volunteers and the welcome team, and that's when the magic starts happening. Our child gets a special blue lanyard to wear that money cannot buy. This lanyard means that that child is the most important person in the park, i.e. when they go to queue for a ride that's an hour or 2 hours long, the volunteers in the park, the volunteers by the queues, see our child, see the family, take them to the very front, even in front of all of the disabled queues, to the very front of every single ride and attraction that they want to see. When it comes to meeting the characters, sometimes a queue can be 2 hours deep. The volunteer will see our child, they are next to see that character. You can imagine there's kids that have been queuing for 2 hours and they're tutting and thinking, who's this? Doesn't matter. So they get to see everybody they want multiple times over. As part of their welcome pack, they get an autographed signature book so that the character will sign their book, and also then the professional volunteers that work at Disney take the professional photos. They are downloaded to our family for free. So in their autograph book, on one side is their photo, the second side is the autograph. The last family that we took, they said the queue for the Disney princesses was 2.5 hours long for a normal queue. They got to the front and they counted, they did 13 different characters within that 2.5 hours that they would have had to queue for one.
Wow.
That's the power of this lanyard. It's absolutely brilliant. All of the family's expenses are paid for. Everything is covered by our charity. An average meal there, it's buffet style, so an average meal for a family of 4 is looking at €200 a meal. We take all that pressure away. We cover all of the costs. They've just got to choose where they want to eat and when they want to eat. The only stipulation is, so they always go on a Friday. On the Saturday morning, we have booked them to have a character breakfast in the best restaurant in Disneyland. So they've got to get up early and they've got to make it to the restaurant. But while they're there, all of a sudden, Winnie the Pooh, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy, Pluto, they're all going to walk in. They're going to see our child. They're going to sit with them. They're going to eat with them. They're going to high-five them. They're going to have photos and selfies. And this little child who's been through hell and back is all of a sudden experiencing the most magical time ever. All of the fireworks that go on at night, all of the parades, they don't have to queue behind tall people and not see anything. They have their own VIP area. The parade stops at the VIP area and they come over to the child. The fireworks, people queue for hours to think they've got the best seats in the house. Then all of a sudden they realise our family are going to sit right in front of them and have the best seat in the house. Everything is done for them and they just have the most magical time. They're there for 3 full days and then we fly them back on a Sunday night and it all works in reverse. So they get driven to Charles de Gaulle Airport from the hotel. They're looked after by the chaplaincy team. They fly back to Luton. There's a chaplaincy team there. And then I come and fetch the family. That's my favourite part of the wish, because the 2-hour journey back, mum and dad are normally asleep because they're absolutely shattered before we've even left Luton. But the child doesn't stop talking to you, wants to show you their videos, their photos. And they're just so excited. And in that journey back, you forget you've got a poorly child in their car. They forget they're poorly. And that's the beauty of any wish that we do. We don't take their suffering away. We help them to forget their suffering, and we give them memories that will last forever. Sadly, with the nature of the job that we do, a lot of the children that we work with are life limited and terminally ill. And I'll meet them on every single wish that we grant. And I sometimes will walk away and know that that's the last time I've met that child. But you have to remember the joy you were able to give them. You have to remember the happy time that you've created for them. And like I said, memories that mum, dad, and the other siblings will be able to continue if sadly the child's no longer with us in the near future. You know, they're the different wishes that we do. What happens with Wishes for Kids, it's not a case of you have your wish and we don't see you again. We keep all the children on file till they're 18 years old. And then we do multiple things throughout the year where we can invite all of them together, all the siblings, all the family, all the grandparents and all the rest of it. Such as currently right now, we're just getting all the invitations back in. We've invited all of our children to a day at Everyman Racing in Loughborough at Presswold Hall. Basically what will happen, 100 children and 100 parents will turn up that we've organised, and they will all be zoomed round the racetrack in the top of the range supercars, which are Ferraris, Nissan GTRs, Ariel Atoms and all the rest of it. Some of the kids, you know, they won't want to go too fast. Give it a lap or two and they'll be going 150 miles an hour because the fear level will have gone, and they're just going to have the most amazing day. And again, it's something that they never would have done before, and it's another memory that we like to create with the children. In November every year we take them to the Snowdome in Tamworth, where they experience the Winter Wonderland experience. We hire coaches from Leicester, we drive everybody there. The first thing they do in the Winter Wonderland is you play around in all the snow. If it's a wheelchair user, we've got them there, and the wheelchairs get attached to the sledges and they can play around in the snow as well. So we're quite happy for them to throw snowballs at us, but they're going to get them back because we're all just big kids and we have lots of fun. Part of the Winter Wonderland after that, after the snow, they've got their own Santa and a pantomime, so we go and sit in a performance there, and to hear all the children laughing, it's just magical. And then after that bit, you move in to see Santa's animals, so you get to feed his animals, and it's absolutely brilliant. The Winter Wonderland experience at the Snowdome is about an hour and a half long, but that's not enough for us, so we've hired a private suite upstairs where we all go upstairs to live music, disco, party, buffet food. We've hired face painters, balloon modelers, and we just have the best fun. And then when it's getting a little bit too noisy and all the E numbers are kicking in from all the food, we'll take them home again. So we do trips to the pantomime, at the local pantomime at Leicester, where we hire out all 340 seats every Christmas. So again, the children all get together. And so we've, over the years, we watch our children grow, and we've granted wishes when they may have been 4, 5, 6 years old, and now they're the late teens, and it's lovely to see them growing up and always want to be part of our events because they love it. And the Wishes for Kids family is just getting bigger and bigger. So that's what we do with different wishes. Sadly, we don't qualify for support from the National Lottery or Children in Need because we've been told in the past that granting a child's wish is a luxury and not a necessity. So they won't help us. Okay, so the only way of getting our money in is through public donation and support from local people, companies, organisations that choose to support us. Going back to the beginning, Russell wanted to create a small charity where all the money went on the kids. That still remains 23 years on. Every single penny that is donated to Wishes for Kids goes on the children and their wishes. The admin here and the wages, there's only one employed member of staff, the rest are volunteers. I work alongside a volunteer that's been here for 23 years and never had a penny out of the charity. She does the admin and the accounts. I do the wishes and the events and all the rest of it. And we've got trustees we can use when we need. But the team is very, very small. So what we do to cover the costs of our own costs, we run our own events throughout the year. But donations that come in, 100% goes on the children. And every single donation we have, whether it be 50p or £50, one of my jobs that takes a long while but it's worth it is to write to every single person and we let them know where their money's going. So we say, because of you, because of your donation, a 7-year-old little boy has gone to Disney to meet Mickey Mouse, or whatever that wish might be. And I think people like that personal touch. So, and like I said earlier, we've granted nearly 8,000 wishes now in nearly 23 years. Obviously, Russell built it from the ground and there was no money in the pot, and he did 20, 30 wishes in the first year or two. We're averaging well over 400 a year now, which is well over one a day. It's brilliant, we can do that. It's really sad there's that many local children that need our help. But we have to do lots of different events to bring the money in because, in today's world, donations are becoming harder and harder. People haven't got money that like they used to, and we fully appreciate that. COVID didn't help, and the cost of living doesn't help. So donations are a bit of a struggle. Then we put more events on, fundraising events that will boost us and bring more money in. But without local people, without people that choose to support us, we can't do what we do. We want to continue because the children need our help. So that's pretty much, in a nutshell, what Wishes for Kids is all about.
Obviously, you've covered a lot there, but the main thing you've talked about is the Disneyland Paris trip. How much does that cost you on average to grant that wish?
On average, it used to cost about £1,600, but that was before COVID. On average now, you're looking at £2,200, £2,300. It all depends on the size of the family, because if there's more than 4 in the family, we take all the siblings that live directly in that household. So if there's more than 4, they need double rooms and all the rest of it, so the costs go up. Depends on the severity of the child as well. If they're really, really poorly, we cover their travel insurance, so obviously that can boost. But on average, we're looking about £2,200, but we have spent over £3,000 just on that wish for bigger families or really, really poorly children that need hoists on the plane, oxygen, things like that. So, but that, to be fair, is one of the dearest wishes we do. But like I said, with the other wishes, we still pay full price for absolutely everything that we buy and order in for.
I just think it's important for people to understand how much you need to raise to afford to pay for these wishes, especially when that's your most popular wish.
People sometimes say to me, what do you need for a year to cover all your costs? Well, the wish costs and all the rest of it. We need about £300,000 a year to cover the wish costs. And I know it sounds a lot, but if we're granting over 4,000 a wish and 4,000 wishes a year, and a lot of them are over £1,000, some of them are over £2,000, that on average kind of would cover us for a year. The money we have in our pot, if we never had any more donations come in, we'd be closed in about 7 or 8 months. And we don't want that to happen, because as we're experiencing, there is more and more children that need our help. So
in terms of fundraising events, have you got anything coming up that you'd like to tell people about, try and get them involved in to try and help you raise some more money?
So we have an events page on the Wishes for Kids site. We've just done an awful lot recently, but what we do is golf days, which is what you've very helpfully supported us with. We do abseils down at the tallest abseil centre in the world, in the UK, which is in Northampton. We've got one this weekend, actually. We do lots of different skydive events down at Hinton Skydive Centre in Brackley. We always use them because they're the best and the best instructors. So they're the events that we put on. We always have things like marathon places. If anyone's into their running, we associate with a company called Run for Charity. Now, we've got access to about 900 different running events in the UK and abroad. They scale from 5k all the way up to marathon. So if anyone wants to take part in anything that we do, and like I said, any event that people join us on, it all goes on the kids, and that's how we generate the money to be able to do these wishes. But they're all on our events page currently at wishesforkids.co.uk. So if anyone wanted to look, or like I said, do their own event, they were thinking of doing something, they'd like to support our charity, we'll back them. We've got charity literature, we've got running vests, we've got t-shirts, we've got buckets and banners if they wanted to host an event. I will be at anything that anybody does, and if I can't be there physically because I'm on a wish, there'll be presents from our charity through a volunteer or something like that. People will say, oh, we've only raised. I was like, well, lose that word only, because it doesn't matter if you raise £1. It's £1 more than we had earlier. And if everybody donated £1, you know what? We're not one of these, we're not going to come out unless there's £1,000 in it for us. I'll do presentations every evening, and I don't expect a donation. But if we can spread the word of Wishes for Kids and get people more aware of what we do, that's sometimes more important to us than anything else, So there's not a minimum fee in our charity. It's every single penny helps, because it all goes on the kids.
And that was my motivation really behind starting the podcast, was to give smaller charities like yourselves a bit of a voice, a bit of exposure. Obviously, I'm not expecting you to be inundated with people supporting you, but if we can just get you 1 or 2 more donations, make people more aware about what you do, the support you can need, and the help that's needed out there amongst lots of small charities like yourself, then really it has been worthwhile for no cost to myself and just the investment of time, really.
Absolutely. It really is important. And obviously, you donated something to us for our golf day. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that or not.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you donated a 4-ball for the Brabazon, and that sold at £400. And that was pure profit that then goes on a child's wish. You know what I mean? Without that, we wouldn't have had £400 in the pot. So it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a donation. It could be whatever. It all adds to helping another child have a magical memory. Like I said earlier, sometimes their last memory. You really are making dreams come true.
I've got a couple of other things I want to discuss with you afterwards that I might be able to support you with. But before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything you feel that we've missed that you want to talk about?
Just thank you for the opportunity to let me talk about Wishes for Kids. If anybody wants to know more, like I said, I know you're Birmingham based, we're Leicester. We grant wishes for children in Leicester. It's all local children anyway. If anybody wants to know more, I'm free 24/7 to talk to somebody. Go onto our website, www.wishes4kids.co.uk. It's the number 4. Our contact details are on there. You'll see on the gallery all the latest wishes that we do, all the different smiles, all the different photos. Every single photo that you'll see, they're all smiling because they're happy. They probably haven't smiled for the last few months, but in that moment, they forget their suffering and we create magical memories for them. If anybody wants to be a part of this and help us, they could volunteer at our events. Anything is not too much for us, you know what I mean? We can accommodate everybody. But if you want to know more, please go online, email me, ring me, and I'll be happy to talk to you and get you involved. But thank you for this opportunity, Dave. I really appreciate it, mate.
No problem. I appreciate you joining me and finding time to explain everything about what you do. The world needs more people like you, and it's been great to meet you, Gary. Take care.